Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Edem with Global Abundance LLC, back with another video. On this channel, we talk all things real estate, commercial, and residential. So, if you are into that kind of content, go ahead and hit that like button, share, subscribe. Uh, we have a free VIP group where we share what's working and what's not working, answer questions, and dive deep into the real estate industry. So, I'll leave a link for that below in the description, and we'd love to see you in there. Uh, Come on and join us. So, welcome back. If you're already subscribed to the channel, and thank you for stopping in. If this is your first time here, uh, today we're going to talk about squatters and the eviction process and things like that. So maybe you have a property that there's some people in there that are not paying, and you know um, they don't want to leave. It's time to find out what you can do and how you can go about it. Or maybe you're getting ready to buy a rental property and you want to know what steps to take, if you run into this issue, and be able to look out for it so you don't even get into this issue in the first place. And we'll talk about that. So let's get into it. All right. So in today's video, I'm going to just give you some useful information that every real estate investor uh, should know about squatters, evictions, and adverse possession. So squatters, evictions, and adverse possession, are a big problem for real estate investors, and they can have a huge impact on your investment if it's not handled properly. So it's important to understand the laws and regulations around these issues and the steps that you can take to protect your investment. So what is squatting? Squatting is a thing where individuals or groups occupy a property without the knowledge or consent of the homeowner. Um, Squatting happens in both residential and commercial properties, and some people see it as a form of protest against, high housing costs or a lack of affordable options. But the real deal is, squatting causes a lot of issues for homeowners and real estate investors. Squatters can straight up destroy and damage the property. So that's going to cost you an arm and a leg to repair. On top of that, squatters refuse to pay rent, or leave the property altogether, which makes it hard for an investor to generate any income from the property or sell it. So with all that said, squatting can be a legal gray area, and laws regarding squatting uh, vary a lot depending on the state and the jurisdiction. So understanding eviction laws. Every state is different with eviction laws. So you need to get to know the legal process for evicting a tenant in your area or where your property is located. This type of info is important to know before starting the eviction proceedings. In some states, landlords have to give tenants a notice to quit, which is essentially a warning that they have a certain amount of time to either pay the rent they owe or leave the property. In other states, a notice to quit is not required, but landlords have to still follow a specific legal process, before evicting a tenant. In Illinois, the amount of notice required depends on the reason for the eviction. And, on average, it would take anywhere between 3 weeks to 6 months for a complete eviction process. Uh, in that time frame, doesn't include any appeals for consideration. And adverse possession. Adverse possession is a legal concept that allows an individual to gain ownership of a property by occupying it for a certain period of time without the owner's permission. The idea behind this whole principle is that if, a homeowner neglects their property for, an extended amount of time and someone else makes use of it, they should, not be allowed to just simply reclaim it. Now, in order to gain ownership through adverse possession, certain criteria, has to be met, like continuous, open, and notorious possession of the property. In Illinois, the required amount of time for adverse possession is 20 years of continuous occupancy, along, with some other factors. Uh, Check out what it is in your area. In New York, for example, adverse possession laws require at least 10 years of possession and payment of taxes throughout that whole period in order to be eligible for a legal title. So, get into your local area, wherever the property is, and figure out what it is for you. Protect your investment, to protect your investment from squatters, evictions, and adverse possession. Uh, you know, it makes sense to work with the right set of people. So if the property isn't local to you, you need some kind of team or boots on the ground to, go into the property, to be able to manage the property, to be able to, see what's going on if this is a property that you're looking to pick up, and you don't want to get involved with this. If you obviously are already going through this right now, um, the best thing you could do is, again, work with some professionals in that area if you're not familiar too much with that area, even though you might have a property there. If you are in the area, then, there's a lot of things you can do. Conducting due diligence. Before investing in a property, you obviously need to conduct thorough due diligence to see if there's any potential legal issues. And, that's just part of the process. You don't want to just jump into buying a piece of property and, not knowing what can go wrong. Okay. You want to be informed. That's what this is all about. Work with an experienced attorney in the event that you need to evict a tenant or protect your investment from something like adverse possession. It's important to work with an experienced attorney in that local area who understands the local law. Uh, just go ahead and connect with a reputable attorney who specializes in real estate law in that area, and have a conversation with them. Um, you can partner with a management company. You know what I mean? If you're looking to buy a property right now, have a management company in place, and again, do your due diligence and your research in that area to find out some good companies that are managing properties in that area, and ask them questions and see if it's something that makes sense for your situation and what you're doing. Maybe you're buying multiple houses for the purpose of renting them out in that area, and you need somebody to manage those properties. So uh, that'll help with having the right tenants. You know what I mean? They'll also be doing a lot of screening and things like that. Understand your local zoning laws. Local zoning laws can deeply impact, what you're doing with that investment property. So you got to understand what the local zoning laws and regulations and things like that are in the county that you're working in. there's thousands of counties, boroughs in certain states, and parishes in another state. So learn the local law and what is allowed, what's not allowed, how it works, how it doesn't work. That's going to give you the right path to go down. Finding, the right deals, again, goes back to working with the right team. So find a a person that knows the local area. Reach out to some investors in that area. Reach out to an agent in that area, and ask questions about the local market before you even get involved. Inquire about, what the average rents are, market rent for that area, for the type of property that you're going to buy, and just gather up enough insight and information about what it is that you're getting ready to do in that area before you get started. So just keep that in mind. Again, if you are currently going through this and you have some questions, or you're in a state and you really don't know about what those laws are and regulations in your state, go ahead and just, again, Google it, or you can reach out to us. And I'd love to have a conversation about what's going on in your specific uh, county or state and what your specific situation is. So with that said, know the laws so you don't get wrapped up in anything like this. But for the most part, it takes years and other factors for somebody to really be able to just really take over your property. Mainly, it's about evicting and getting some problem tenants out the way. But the thing to understand is you need to be making sure you're screening these tenants before they get in the door, so you can avoid these problems altogether and not even have to go through this. Make sure there's credit, their credit worthiness is there, and background checks and anything that you need to check. Have they had previous evictions? Just look at what's going on outside of, obviously, can they afford it or not. Uh, do your due diligence up front, and you'll end up avoiding a lot of these issues of squatters and evictions. And in other cases where you just have a vacant property somewhere and somebody just is squatting in there, again, it goes back to that local area. Do your research there. Talk to a local real estate attorney, and reach out to some investors as well. Reach out to some agents or brokers and ask questions about that for that specific situation in that area. So hopefully this video helped you out. Happy investing. I'll see you in the next video.